postcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And on tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the Sharks 7-3 win and the Sharks 4-1 loss. And Danil Gushchin is here to take souls. All that and more on tonight's postcast episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin in San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. We're going to try to do a little bit more of these postcasts. They're going to be a little more casual than the normal episodes. So come hang out for a little bit. Dakota is amped up here. And I think we got to start with Gushchin. Oh my goodness. Danil Gushchin making a claim to go to Europe. And I did my Barracuda-like lines and had him on the first line. I don't know how you can't at least send him to Europe. Like, does he play? Maybe. I don't know, especially with all the injuries right now. You have Lindblom, Barabanov's still coming back for like an injury. Gushchin's hot right now, and you got to ride the kid. So, he's – and it's like, on the rush, he just so good. Yeah, like a lot of his plays were on the rush, and that's what you like to see, especially with him, where he can kind of create that chaos. And him and Gadjovich, who I'll probably talk about here in a little bit, seem to have some pretty good chemistry. And I kind of mentioned it. I think I mentioned the other day, if you're Matt Nieto, you definitely have to be looking over your shoulder, especially at Gadjovich. And like let's talk about Gushchin though. Gushchin is certified, the certified Russian sniper that the Sharks need. They have been dying for goal scoring, and Gushchin can provide that for you. If Lindblom is out for a little bit or Barabanov is out, you have to play. You have to play Gushchin right now. He's already shown that he can help provide offense on a team that needs offense. And put him with Couture, put him with, put him on, I don't care, put him on the top line, put him with Hurdle and Meyer. Let the kid go crazy right now until, let him come in, get a taste of it. And then if he needs to go back to the Barracuda, you can send him back to the Barracuda where he's going to play top line minutes anyway. But right now you got to ride the Goose train right now. Yeah, yeah, he's so good. And that we saw this, right? You saw this when he was playing with the Ice Dogs, and he was literally like the only dude on there. Dakota is really excited about Gushchin right now. You saw he was the only dude on there having to score, still scored 40 goals, and the next closest guy on his team had 20. Plays on the Barracuda last year for a little bit. Barracuda, those last 3 games, the Barracuda were just absolutely, there's a reason why majority of the guys that were on the Barracuda last year aren't on the Barracuda this year, right? You just compare the rosters. Gushchin, you saw him making plays last year on the Barracuda with a very, very bad roster. You signed him a talent. I don't think he's ever going to be a line driver type of guy, but he can be a finisher, and the Sharks lack finishers right now. Let Gush go to Europe, see if he can, spark something. Remember the Good Vibes Sharks last year at the beginning of the season? If you're a longtime listener, the Good Vibes Sharks last year when Eklund was there, and it was like, oh, wow, they're fun. They're, things are kind of working right now. Like it's, they went on a night, they won a bunch of games at the beginning of the season before the season fell apart. Could Gushchin be the Good Vibes Sharks 2.0? Yeah, that's it's so crazy what he was able to kind of do tonight. And poor Aiden Hill. Poor Aiden Hill. Poor Aiden Hill. I feel bad. They kind of let him in there. I know he needs to play and get back from his injury and stuff like that. But yeah, I think getting a fourth for Aiden Hill right now might not be the worst thing in the world. I know they gave up the second for Aiden Hill, but getting something back for him. And again, you don't want to base a guy off of one bad night, but man, they let him in. I'm still kind of shocked that they didn't pull him, but I guess they wanted him to get some play time, especially because he hasn't played much coming off of his injury. So yeah, Danil Gushchin, I think really, really, really is going to make David Quinn think real about how this team is constructed. And, the Sharks are going to need offense. You can't win every game, 2-1. As much as I like Capo Kakinen and James Reimer, those guys, this team isn't built to just win every game 3-1 with those goalies and the defense that's going to be in front of them. So if you're going to lose, at least make it fun and interesting and have Danil Gushchin out there. So yeah, Gushchin was great. I think Gadjovich too. Gadjovich is, again, he's really, I was kind of iffy on him last year because he felt just like kind of tough guy who can occasionally offer some offense, but you're really seeing him improve his skating and kind of take the next step and be a more well-rounded player. And, tonight, great assist, great. The goal that he scored on his knees, he's getting basically getting tackled, and he's able to kind of flip it up above Aiden Hill's glove hand, slowest hands in the West. But excuse me. Yeah, I think Gadjovich, if you're Matt Nieto, you got to be looking really hard over your shoulder because Gadjovich is coming. And even if Matt Nieto starts the season, I mean, you can pick anybody. If it's, Matt Nieto just kind of feels like the guy who's going to probably be the odd man out and eventually get traded to another team type of player. But, you got to really impressed with the way that Gadjovich has worked to try to get his game where it needs to be an NHL player and not just a tough guy who fights and can occasionally chip in some offense. So he's really worked on his skating. You can see that. You saw that with the, on the Gushchin goal where he's draws the two defenders onto him and leaves Gushchin wide open. If you leave Gushchin wide open, that dude's had an NHL shot since he was 16. The dude can shoot, but great job by Gadjovich to, again, working on that skating, working on becoming a more NHL player. Watch Nieto go from the Sharks to the Avs and then back to the Avs again. He's got to go join his old friend Andrew Cogliano on that shutdown penalty kill. Yeah. If anybody else you guys want to talk about, throw it in the comments and stuff. I'm more than happy to anybody you want to talk about. But before we do that, I got to pay the bills here really quick. You guys know, I know this is still the postcast, but still got to pay the bills. BetOnline, your number one source for football betting information this season. Find out the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth articles, analysis on every game you can find. As always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wager information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. So head to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. I'm trying to do two things at once there. All right. Who else you guys want to talk about? So I think we got to talk about Eklund. I spent more time kind of watching the Ducks game and keeping my eye on the Ducks game just because it's easy. I had the setup, the laptop with the Anaheim game, and then the Vegas game was kind of on a delay on there, and then I had the Vegas game on my TV. So I saw something happen on the Vegas game. I could clip it on my computer type of thing. So working really hard for you guys. Eklund, it's a little bit tough because it felt like he had a little bit of a quieter night than I would have probably preferred with him. But the Ducks kind of also got out to a 3-0 lead really quick in the first period. So it's hard to kind of, when you're down 3-0, you're having to kind of press a little bit more. And then in the second period, it was a lot of power play and penalty kill time. Eklund was playing on the penalty kill, which is, you love to see that. But I do want to, and I thought in the third period, you saw some of his flashes. I clipped some of those where he's trying to make some offense, driving to the net. A couple of times where he's driving to the net. One time he just kind of misses getting around. I think it was Stolarz is in net there, getting around there. And then another time he kind of dekes out a guy and then just kind of runs out of space as the rest of the defenders kind of close in on him. So we'll see with him. I'm kind of leaning toward, I'm just guessing. This is me just guessing. I think they're going to send him to the AHL just because he hasn't really knocked down the door, if that makes sense. Like Gushchin's knocking on the door and saying like, you can't send me back because of what I'm doing. Well, Eklund, I think he has had a more well-rounded game, and you can see that with him, and they've put him in situations to kind of make sure he's working on being a more well-rounded player. I wouldn't be surprised if they start him in the Barracuda right now. Maybe let him kind of fill up the scoring sheet a little bit, kind of get that confidence going, and then bring him up. And, that's perfectly fine. Again, I love Eklund. You guys know how much I love Eklund. I think he's going to be a special player. We can't rush him. You don't want to do that. And if he has to play a couple games in the AHL, it's not a failure, right? A failure would be putting him out there before he's ready to go. And again, I think you can see his overall game has much more well-rounded. Like I said, he's playing penalty kill minutes. He's doing good things in the defensive zone. He's back-checking, which we know he back-checks like a crazy guy. You can see the progress in his game, but I think, though, helping to build his confidence up isn't the worst thing in the world. And if he goes in the AHL, he scores a couple goals, plays. We saw that with Bordeleau, right? First game, boom, scores 3 goals, and then his confidence is like, okay, I got this, guys, type of thing. You let Eklund kind of come in, score a couple goals, play really well, kind of get a couple string together a few good games, and then you can bring him up and kind of go from there. Especially if maybe the Sharks are off to a little bit of a struggle, maybe the power play isn't working well, and Eklund can provide that. So let's see some questions here. What's this say? The Ducks game is what you get when you only have one NHL D-man and another can move the puck. That's very, very fair. And it was weird. Mercury didn't play at all tonight in either game. So I think I was texting with Shang, humble brag, but I think he's going to kind of dig into why Mercury wasn't playing. I haven't really been on Twitter since I've started, so I don't know if there's anything coming out on that. So, yeah, then that's a very good point. It's hard to be able to do anything if we've seen this a bajillion times with the back end. So, season's probably all right. See, since the season is probably going to be a dud, whether it's with young, exciting pieces or old, boring pieces, when do you expect to start the draft content for the team? Last year, we made it to January before we started the draft content. That's usually we'll see how the team is there. So, yeah, draft content will be coming about in probably January. We'll kind of start dipping our toes in, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, let's see. Blessed by the one and only So Many Salt to come hang out with us. Oh, we have a celebrity among us. Not too upset. Yeah, I talked about this a little bit earlier at the beginning of the stream. Having Aiden Hill, getting a 4th round pick for Aiden Hill, perfectly fine. I was a little surprised they kept him out there, especially giving up 7. I know the dude has not played much since end of January, but you almost think like of a confidence thing, like, hey, you need to get him out. But again, they're trying to, it's preseason, it doesn't matter, trying to kind of work him back into form. So yeah, poor Aiden Hill. I do like how everybody picking that glove, even rewatching the Gadjovich goal where he kind of just like the nice little soft shirt, right? It's like the little touch pass almost over Aiden Hill's glove, man. Poor Aiden Hill. So Is Gush going to Prague again? If you missed the beginning, I did my whole thing on Gush. I don't know how you can't at least send him to Prague. Like he's busting down the door. He's making David Quinn have to make a really serious decision, especially again if Lindblom or Barabanov, if they're not 100%, it's probably better just to keep them home. Because is it worth spending a day traveling, playing, basically playing 2 games and spending a day traveling where you can almost have 2 weeks off and let those guys really, really, really get healthy and be ready for the start of the season. So I'm pretty excited. I think Gushchin does have to. I think he has to go. I don't know how you can not send it. Anyway. Let's see what's this. Do you think there's any way we see a Gush Boards Reedy line? No, that's way too much fun. That's maybe on the Cuda. Sure, that's an amazing top line on the Cuda. I don't think David Quinn would do that. That's too much fun. Too much fun to have that many fun guys on there. So yeah, a lot of guys that would be pretty sweet watching Bordeleau passes to Gushchin, who's with the snipes and the Reedy with the dirty goals there. That's a fun line, but that's too much fun for David Quinn. So let's see. Other guys, I mean, it was good to see Erik Karlsson out there scoring goals. Again, I didn't get to see too much of the I was a little bit more focused on the Ducks game, but good to see Karlsson out there. I felt bad for him on that goal where it's a 4-on-1 and Karlsson just in the middle of the box. Just poor guy has no chance there as I think the Eichel's first goal, where he just kind of taps it in. But yeah, good to see him out there scoring. Timo Meier quietly had 4 assists tonight, which is just crazy. I really think Timo Meier is going to be flirting with 90 points this year, especially with if Timo Meier is going to be kind of the trigger man on the power play. Timo Meier could really, really be flirting with 90 points this year. I think he's going to have like 40 goals. And if the offense if that first line is a little bit better, or if the offense is just a little bit better, I think we might see a Timo Meier 90-point season. So, but let's see. But everybody asked for this. He's too nice. Quinn's can't. Yeah, Quinn's he's too handsome to do that. Now the question is this too much hype for Gushchin? Or not enough? I mean, we're probably overhyping him a little bit, but I mean, what else do we have to talk about? It's a preseason game. Douglas Murray famously scored a hat trick in a preseason game, but whatever. It's fun to talk about, these prospects that we've been waiting to watch these guys like on a regular basis, and we're probably overhyping Gushchin right now, but that's fine. Who cares? It's the preseason. Nobody, yeah. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see Gushchin out there doing it. So, and hopefully some of these other guys can start to do that as well. So, there's too much hype. Yeah. Again, yeah, it's too much hype, but it won't stop us. Who cares? When the Sharks have lost like 5 of 6 in the middle of February, and we're just grinding towards the end of the season, we'll think about the Gushchin hat trick against the Golden Knights. So yeah, and the good thing though is we got Bordeleau, we know who can beat the Golden Knights. Now we got Gushchin, another Night Slayer. We're building the Night Slayer team here, right? They say you got to beat your division. So yes, somebody sent me a stream link. It ended up working until NHL finally put it on TV. Really annoying with the NHL. Like the game starts at 7, and then like they showed a Predators kind of behind the scenes thing as they're getting ready for Prague, which is cool, right? I mean, that's cool, but like you're missing the first 20, the first half an hour of the game because they're showing this. They couldn't wait till after the game to show. Anyway, sorry. I digress. Yes, I know we're gonna be able to watch the preseason game in Germany. The Sharks have already said that. I don't know if I think it's gonna be on TV. Don't quote me on this either. Is it either going to be on TV or the Sharks are going to stream it? So they did say it's gonna be televised, and then NHL is gonna be televising both the Sharks Preds games as well. I think it's like 11 a.m. Pacific time. So on Friday. So yeah, make sure you take your lunch around then or whatever. I'll definitely I'll be watching from work that day. So that'll be fun. Yes. I think we'll kind of end it here in a minute, unless you guys have any more questions. First of all, thank you guys for hanging out. If you're listening, if you're watching, please hit the little subscribe button. We're going to try to do more of these postcasts, especially on the weekend games. That way it's not like Monday you're waiting to kind of hear my thoughts or analysis on a game from Friday night. So we're going to try to do more of these postcasts on the weekends and, just kind of hang out a little bit more, just the vibes, not as, I didn't pull up any stats or anything like that. So make sure you guys are subscribing. Gonna try to do, like I said, try to do more of these. I think it's gonna do about it. I'll be back on Monday. We're not gonna stream a friendly. So they're gonna stream a friendly in Germany, but not in the SAP Center, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Believe me, it's because Gary Bettman and thanks, Gary. Seriously, it's 2022. We should be able to watch every preseason game. Anyway, so that's going to do it. I'll be back on Monday. We're going to talk about, I'm sure we'll have a finalized roster as we're heading over to Europe. So we'll talk about the guys who made it, the guys who didn't make it, and then why they're, kind of what they need to do to kind of take that next step. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out with me. Appreciate all you guys hanging out on Twitter too. Trying to cut up clips like a madman. It was, no more split squad games. So that'll do it. I'll catch you guys on Monday. Again, we'll talk about the roster, where it's at. I got a really fun guest lined up for Tuesday as well. And that'll be it. Bye, friends.